As I've mentioned in the past, Pulp Fiction is one of my favourite movies, featuring great acting and dialogue, a superb choice of music, and, as mentioned in my non-linear narratives video, a strong narrative structure. And while I have no plans to do an in-depth review on the film as a whole, because I think we all know what makes it so great, there is an area of the film I wanted to address that I've not seen talked about so much, besides its story structure. And that is, talking about who the most important character in the film is. You'd think it was Vincent Vega, and while Vincent is the main character overall, has a role in every story, and is important to the story, he's not the most important. The most important character in the film is his partner in crime, Jules de Winfield, and this is based on two different elements. One being, he's the second most crucial character story-wise. The most crucial character story-wise is Marcellus Wallace, as his actions and requests put all four stories into action to some extent. He sends Vincent and Jules to collect the briefcase from Brett as part of the Bonnie situation story. The events of this story lead to the diner story. He also asks Vincent to take Mia out to dinner for the Vincent Vega and Marcellus Wallace's wife story. And he offers Butch a large sum of money to throw an upcoming boxing match, only for Butch to double-cross him, and Marcellus to send Vincent to kill him, as part of the Gold Watch story. Jules is the second most crucial character story-wise, as his actions impact 3 of the 4 stories, and this stems from the second reason he is the most important character. He gets the most character development. While most characters get little to no character development, Jules has a significant character arc, going from being a ruthless assassin to resigning from his life of crime. This is a character arc that simultaneously creates symbolism and puts the events of 3 of the 4 stories into place. When Jules and Vincent kill Brett in his apartment, the 4th man jumps in and tries to shoot them both, only to miss every shot. Jules considers their escape a miracle, believing that
God came down from heaven and stopped these motherfucking bullets.
Which is something Vincent disputes. They argue about this in the car, which prompts Vincent to ask for Marvin's opinion and accidentally shoot him in the face. Jules being forced to drive the car to his friend Jimmy's house, and him wanting them to deal with this problem before his wife Bonnie comes home, puts the Bonnie situation into place. After disposing of the car, Marvin's body, and their bloody clothes, Jules and Vincent go to get breakfast at a diner, thus putting the diner into place. While there, Jules tells Vincent about his plan to retire from his life of crime before the diner is held up in a robbery, with a Mexican standoff between the two characters and the robbers Ringo and Yolanda. Jules recites the biblical passage, expresses ambivalence about his life of crime, and allows Ringo and Yolanda to take his cash and leave. Vincent and Jules leave the diner with the briefcase, which they take to Marcellus' strip club. At the same time, Marcellus pays Butch a large sum of money to take a dive in his upcoming boxing match, which Butch initially accepts. While at the bar, Vincent, in a bad mood about what happened earlier, insults Butch by calling him a palooka, a term for an inferior boxer. And this ultimately prompts Butch to double-cross Marcellus and win the fight, accidentally killing his opponent in the process, and putting the Gold Watch story into place. While Jules doesn't chronologically appear after giving the briefcase to Marcellus, his epiphany has indirectly put Vincent in a bad mood, and led him to insult Butch. So essentially, Jules' epiphany and character growth, and how it affected Vincent, puts the Gold Watch story into place. Something I mentioned in my non-linear narratives video was how the story structure presents dramatic irony in that we see Vincent get killed before he disputes Jules' epiphany. While Jules sees a sign to resign as a hitman, Vincent disputes it, and what we know that he doesn't is this, along with his stupidity and carelessness, will lead to him being shot and killed. Vincent had the chance to escape death, but didn't take it. Something else I should have mentioned in that video was how the non-linear narrative structure works to make Jules' character arc flow more naturally. If the movie was chronological, Jules would still grow as a character, but it would also feel somewhat rushed, and he'd then disappear from the movie completely. The non-linear narrative works well to establish Jules near the beginning, then return to him near the end. When we first saw him, he was a ruthless hitman. When we next see him, he has the epiphany that leads to his retirement, and his character arc feels much more important and flows much more naturally as a result. It works especially well with the final frame of the movie, showing Vincent in full view, but Jules hidden, to establish Vincent's fate as known, but Jules' as a mystery. The only story that Jules doesn't impact too much is the Vincent Vega and Marcellus Wallace's wife story, as realistically, it would take place with or without him. However, what he tells Vincent about Mia before they enter Brett's apartment does give Vincent discussion material for when he meets her, such as the television pilot she did, and regarding the foot massage she allegedly got from Gangster Tony. So while Jules' words or actions don't really set up the story, they do nonetheless provide more conversation for Vincent and Mia, giving them more chemistry in the process. With Jules having the biggest character arc, impacting a lot of the chemistry and story direction Pulp Fiction goes in, and providing a reasonable amount of symbolism, he is ultimately the most important character of the movie. And also my favourite character, played brilliantly by Samuel L. Jackson, who I believe, as much as I love Martin Landau and Ed Wood, should have won Best Supporting Actor that year. A highly intriguing character from a highly intriguing movie.